Are we live? Are you guys here tonight? Am I here? Oh my gosh, we are live. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Welcome to Friday night, where we are going to talk about rocks and the good things in life and Friday and being alive. How are you doing tonight? It's so good to see you here. And I want to thank ahead of time. I would love to thank my guest who's getting ready tonight. I would also really like to thank all of you for all of your support. What a fun week this has been. Allison is here in the house. Vicky is here. Good to very much see you. Allison, or rather, Ma is here. I'm pulling my brain cells together as we speak. You can hear it happening as on the fly in my mouth. There's not a fly in my mouth though. Although we're gonna have to toast really soon here. Lava Bison is here. Cynthia Foss is here. Fantastic to see you guys. Scott Argyle is here. Enjoying the sunset, are you? We are having one magnificent. It's over, I guess, now, but one really fabulous sunset going on. And I was hustling around the house trying to get ready for the live and bidding adieu to the sun. It was just so good looking. And so are all of you looking so good tonight. Thanks again for coming. Boot, the spicy ghost, is here. And Patricia's Creations is here. I'm trying not to go too fast so I don't miss anybody because I miss you. I miss you all week long. We had a great week of videos, though. Everybody was keeping everybody else pretty darn entertained throughout the week. Arizona Rockhound Expeditions is in the house. Hello, Julie. Good to see you. And Jeff is here. I was hoping that Jeff would be here, as well as Vicky, of course, J and the V in the JV rock hounding. And Brian also, greetings and salutations. Another of the wonderful rockin' pairs that we have here on the air. We've got Tomcat Josh saying hello back in Oregon. So good to have you back in the homeland. I hope that you're keeping warm, though. Boy, have we been chilly cold. And I'm betting that you guys are probably pretty cold out there too. And if we've got a Ken roaming around here, I've been thinking about you. I saw that you all got snow there in Florida. You know, weather needs to be cutting you guys a break. You had enough with your hurricanes and then tornadoes, and now you get snow. What is the deal? Lee is in the house. Very good to see you, Lee Zardo from Canada. Yay! I'm glad that you're here. The Stone Picker is here as well. And I'm glad that you're watching. Thank you so much for jumping into the chat. The chat's going to be super important tonight. It's important every night. We love the banter. We love the tangents. We love the questions and the answers and the whys and all the things that you guys do in the chat. Tonight, we need you. We're going to be talking about making artistic cabs. And I know a bunch of you out there do exactly that and how it's done. And I would love to hear about your techniques and the things that you love and some of the horror stories that you have to tell, because all of us who work with rocks know that there are those things. And then those of you who aren't into it yet, why, we invite you, and you know there's going to be a bunch of information being exchanged, and so get your notebook out and take some notes. I think that you'd be hard pressed to come across a more knowledgeable group of folks on rocks. They're all here. Gang's all here. There's Ken. Hey, Ken. I hope that you're donning an extra blanket. And Lick is sick. Lisa's sick. I was amalgamating that. Sorry. Lisa's sick. I'm so sorry to hear that. And she's napping it out. And do we mean that she's like flint napping it out? Like making an arrowhead and then stabbing that sickness out of her? Or just a regular nap, probably. But Lisa, I hope that you feel better soon. Seriously, girl. I hope that you're warm also. You can tell I'm a little high center on the warm thing. If you guys were watching the opening montage, we went and had a very, very cold little winging expedition to the lake. That was incredible. And so I'm a scrolling on down. My mom is here. Put a saddle on your best beast and ride off into the sunset. Is that what we're talking about, Mom? That sounds good. um, and that's always fun. Oh my goodness, stone picker. I only have like 100 pounds of petrified wood in like 7 boxes. My goodness, that's impressive. Math as far as those boxes weigh something. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll bet you're going to be doing some fun things with all of those pounds of rocks. And oh my goodness, look at this. Yay! Brian, thank you so much for the memberships. Let's ring the bell. Really appreciate you, man. And y'all know that the memberships really help the whole inner workings of the channel, like when we gotta buy printer ink and when we gotta pay the bill for the music and all that kind of stuff. It helps so much to be able to keep this whole live stream thing going. And so I love you guys for the memberships. Really, really deeply appreciative. And I want to make an announcement that Arizona Rockhound Expeditions, you can be a member over there too. So when you're finished with this live stream, go on over there and give them some love too. They just opened up their memberships, and you all want to be supporting all of the channels that have memberships if you can. I understand it's kind of like a buy the team that's putting on these live streams and videos like a coffee each month, but and so I know that you can maybe get spread thin if you want to buy them a coffee and them a coffee and you a coffee and you a coffee. I get it. But just so that you know, those guys have that going on over there too. And not to mention they had a super fun live stream on Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and do like a quick little recap on some of that too. But thanks again for that, Brian. And I see another one over here. Thank you so much, Tomcat Josh. Yay. We get to ring the bell again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that bell is a ringing this evening, and another 5 Ozone Fine Art Ventures memberships going out to you guys. So that means that there's going to be more stuff on the membership side. Boy, time really got away from me when I was sick and everything, and I haven't been giving you guys enough. And so tonight I'm going to be loading some stuff over there. And so you can pitter pat over there when you get a chance and you can see what kinds of new things are over there. I've been talking a long time about doing some music to microzone. And so maybe you'll have a little something, something that you get to go to sleep to, little music, little microzone to watch. And I've got some video editing to do as well. And so somebody needs to handcuff me to this computer and make me do that. But that's an aside. That's a tangent. Thank you so much, Tomcat Josh, for the 5 gifted memberships. That's 10 more of y'all tonight. I'm going to update the credits after this evening. I'm glad I didn't today because I was supposed to, but I didn't get to it. And now I get to do some more. And so, at any rate, oh, and Tomcat Josh is asking, who are those people? So we have some folks that maybe pass through at some point. I really hope that there's still a watching, and they're running out of the regulars to gift. Oh, hi, I didn't say hello to Rufochus, Rooted Rock Hound. Hey, it's so good to see you. Speaking of membership sides of the channel, he just posted one to the membership side, I believe, as well. And we've got this one over here. Join the Pebble community, the Prairie Pebble community while you are at it. Absolutely. Like I said, if you buy a cup of coffee for the team every here and there, and I mean, Prairie Girl rocks every Wednesday morning. You got to get your coffee with Allison. And so that's a way to spread the love, is with that little itty bitty membership. A little bit goes a really long way for your channels. Thank you so much. And da, 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 da. I'm just Mark Lee is here, and thank you. And I'm not entirely sure if this live is awesome or if the other lives are awesome, but we're so excited about lives, and the more of them, the better. And thank you so much, Brian. Don't skip the like button. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that as well. It's crazy because every little bit of these like little things that you toss at a channel, like if you subscribe or if you like or if you leave a comment or any of that kind of stuff, then like the YouTube number beast decides to like put you in the mix more. And so that's, I guess, why we keep on reminding everyone we love the love. We know you guys love us, and those little gestures do go a long way. And so thank you so much. And yeah, we just kind of put that together, I think. You gotta love it. The auto not so correct. And Rocky Mountain Bear is here and is offering the handcuffs, I believe. Yes, please leave the fuzz on a little bit more comfortable, I would imagine. Thank you so much, Rocky. And so, as I was saying, I have this video that I really need to get out for you guys. And it's about rock hounding during the king tides with my brother. We're going to see a little bit of a preview tonight on the show. So I'll show you a little bit of what was going on with the editing. I kept on having to make more space. We can all commiserate about being, having not enough space on our phone or our laptop or our PC. But alas, I should be able to crunch this bad boy tonight and serve it up to you fresh. So a beach rock hounding video. We also did get a chance to scamper down to the lake and get that frozen trip in. We had a rock hounding experience there that was a complete surprise. Like we were sabotaged by a rock hounding experience on our last trip. Somewhat cold, but so beautiful, that I need to put in the can for you guys, along with a bunch of other ones. And that's why I need to get handcuffed to my PC, because on the other side of the coin, the thing that we're talking about tonight is the cabochons and creating things with your rocks. So we have a rock competition going on over on the Discord. It's a cabochon competition and a bit of a Rorschach test, because the theme of this competition for this month is something that you're framing in the rock. Like if it's a bird that's sitting there in the rock, or a landscape, or a tree, or who knows what kind of weird non sequitur is popping up in your rock. But the idea is to see it there in the slab or what have you, and go ahead and realize it for all of us to see. And so we're gonna look at some cabs that I have cut from some rough that some of y'all in the chat have sent to me, and we're gonna kind of talk about how we get to framing a cab, what kind of shape we should make it, some of the do's, maybe some of the don'ts, some of the different machines. I would love to hear your ideas, your stories, your wisdom, your tips and techniques, and of course, your questions too. And so that is the discussion. Auto autocorrect is a jerk. Indeed. I'm kind of wondering from whence autocorrect comes from. That is a very interesting name. But yes, definitely a jerk. And it's tough having not so nimble fingers as well. And no starve is a real struggle, right? And we'll put some sauce on that. Not starving for sure. Storage is even better to not run out of. Thank you. And here, Rufo, fun fact, if you type autocorrect into Google, it asks if you meant autocorrect or autoresh. Reche? Riche? Reach? Who knows? But that's interesting. And yeah, you got to try all these things. And I'm glad that you guys are out there trying all the different ways to discombobble Google. That was fun to say. And we've got Mr. Chubby Hubby here in the house. Hello. And I hope that all is well in your rocky world as well. Thank you so much for the wonderful greetings. And Tanya Lynn, thank you so much for coming as well. Good evening. Good evening to all of you. So happy again that y'all are here. And I do have a special guest that will be coming on in a little bit, and we will be talking about that cab contest that was aforementioned. Some of y'all have already tossed down your cabs. You've got a couple more days before the deadline. So if you haven't started cutting a cab, you still have time to cut a slab, then a cab, and get that into the contest. It's over there on Discord, having a great time over there with that. Lesby Rockin' is here saying hi to all of the rock lovers in the house. Thank you so much. Good to see you. And so, what I think that we'll do right now is we'll go ahead, and Sonia is here. I did see you a little earlier. I hope that you are working on some very, very cool things there in the laboratory. Did I say hi to Ma? I hope so, because I saw you going by, and you gotta know, I I see you so much on my screen. I might forget to say hi occasionally. Those of us who have the tendency to talk a lot during the day. Um, and let's see, we've got a really interesting question here right from the get-go, and then we'll actually see a little video. Is there some sort of jigsaw for slabs or slablets? The straight line cutting kind of destroyed what could have been a handful. Oh my gosh, usually I'm a little better at reading. I think we need to take a cheers. Destroyed what could have been a beautiful off cut. And I do believe that there is a jigsaw for stones. And I do believe that it's pretty expensive. But please, everyone, let's join in and use group mind and answer this question. And I'll scroll down and see if somebody else might have also answered, because I was looking into that earlier as well. And when I say earlier, when I was first getting into it, I was kind of looking at some of the workarounds for saws. You know, could I get something that does everything? And I have a saw that will work with metal, and I was hoping that I would also be able to cut some rocks, like a scroll saw type thing. And yeah, no, not so much, but it does exist. I just think that they are on the spendy side, as with all of the lapidary equipment. Big surprises here. Isn't there a round thingy that you can put on the nut of the flat lap to polish angles? Yeah, I I think I know what you're talking about. Like, they have them over there at High Tech Diamond, and I think that that is for doing some of the work with the glass. And I do believe it would work with stones too, but I know that a lot of the high tech machines, the flat laps, are used for people that do a lot of glass work. And so that is a really great answer. And I would love to see if anybody else has some suggestions here. They do make diamond wires. They actually diamond crust piano wire so that you can put it into a jeweler's saw and you can cut rocks by hand. Ask me how I know. And that is actually how I get around the cutoffs that don't work well with precious material, like opal. When I'm going after the boulder opal, I'm going to we need to get to that. Cheers. When I work with the boulder opal, sometimes I will use regular small cutoff wheels. And then other times I will straight up just hand saw it so that I can get right up to the precious material without going too fast and without having too big of a kerf. The actual width of your saw blade takes away a fair amount of rock, dependent on what kind of saw that you have. And so these are all things to think about. Plus, you can turn whatever kind of corners you want to with a piano wire in a jeweler's saw. And so if you want to scroll along, you can do that by hand. It will make you a beast. So if you're in need for a workout or something like that, this is the thing for you. This is definitely more of a summertime activity or something to do in a shop because it is messy. You're definitely exuding all sorts of rock and dust, but it's the way that I've cut a lot of boulder opal that way. And Ma is saying, "I wish this was a thing." Yes, definitely. And let's see, coming down here, I've done it with a diamond wire on a handsaw, but what a pain. Yes, it is a pain. The pain, but it also merits the result. And so sometimes if I don't have the cash, I do have the time. And I'm willing to spend it. I spend it well, all of that time that I have in the bank. And so the diamond coated wire, yep. And boy, so here's interesting. So I imagine you could make one even if a hand one. Yeah. Like, gosh, if anybody's a tool builder and wants to come up with this, like, let's go. Let's do it. And I think it's for glass also, but might try it on stone. Yeah, I was thinking it would be great for all of the kind of like any concave carves that you want to do. And then perhaps you would just have to do some hand polishing with your Novas after that. Not sure. But I've always been super intrigued by those too. And usually when I'm over on the high tech, if I'm over on the high tech site, then I'm having trouble keeping my money in my bank account. And so by the time I'm like, well, I could buy one of those nuts, or I've also already got a saw blade and several more polishing pads and some diamond paste and you name it, it's already in my shopping cart. And I'm going, oh, maybe next time I'll do the experiment. And so definitely this one's cheaper. They don't cost very much at all to buy. And yeah, a good forearm workout. Very meditative. And I don't know, there's a certain amount of complete pleasure to doing something by hand when it's done. Maybe not during, but like the whole feeling, it's a very good feeling when you've done it, for sure. And let's see, the older style jigsaws often have the motor mounted separately or at the rear of the saw. And so that probably goes along with like building something. I probably missed what that is specifically for. And okay, I have to figure out some package drama. Oh no. Oh no. That's really super scary. My best wishes to that package and you for sure. You're going to have to tell us how that goes. And yeah, right? The struggle is real. Money's just keep on flying out of my wallet. Yeah. and I still have time. So we spend them both like lavishly, don't we? And we've got BD& Star, a Taurus ring saw, mainly for glass, but could be used on stone. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, it's right there wherever your chat is relative to where I'm pointing. And you might want to check that out. Either you could search it now in the Googlies or after we're done. I'm going to be checking that out afterwards, which is going to be super duper fun. All right. And I keep on promising this video, but I think what would really be good is getting down to business first. We're going to get down to business. And that is that we've got this contest coming up that is about cabochons. And so we're chit-chatting all about like the different ways to get to the cabochon finished product. But we want to talk about the contest first. And so I'm going to bring on my guest and we shall chat about that. Look who I found.
Hello, everybody.
Who's this stranger?
New name. Who dis?
Who is it? I mean, and what's really great, don't say yet, because somebody or maybe everybody or nobody in the chat might know who Freeform Lapidary is. And so, oh, somebody just gave it away.
Ah, darn.
Because that might have been a really super fun, like, who is this guy? We recognize the voice from somewhere, but have we ever seen this voice?
Of course. You've seen me before. I'm Jahik.
There we go. All right. And so welcome on, Jahik. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of
And
course.
Ma is like, oops, wait, crap. Sorry.
Oh, ma.
Oh, but she was so excited. And so we have you on tonight for a couple different reasons. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead and cover the Discord thing for everybody real quick. What is this cab contest thing?
So it's just it's going to be a monthly contest to create a cabochon that fits a specific theme. Karen here picked the first theme, which is the rockocosm. So it's just looking for something inside the rock that looks like something outside the rock. Could be a face, a tree, all kinds of things that we see in life. And each month the theme will change depending on who the winner is. There will be a voting period, which will start here in a few days. The community will have 5 days to vote on the person they think or on the cab that they think best met the challenge and the theme. So yeah, so the contest will usually last about a few weeks or so. Then we'll have a 5-day voting period. Everybody in the Discord is free to participate in voting. You do not have to enter a cabochon to play.
Woohoo! So you get to participate even if you don't have a cab, but we
Yeah.
want to see your cabs, right?
Yes. We've had some good entries so far, and there's rumors that a couple more are going to be coming in the next day or so. So we'll see how that goes.
Here's one now. So Rufo says the cab. I have my cab to work tomorrow or 3. Nice. And so we were going to close the competition when?
Sunday night, late Sunday night, or maybe Monday morning, if depending. if anybody lets me know that they're gonna squeak in there kind of at that last second, I'm not gonna hold them. I'm not gonna hold them to it too much.
Nice. All right. And yep, there it is. So Ma just popped on the invite to the Discord. And so if you're not part of our Discord yet, come join. And then you can join the cab contest. So how do they find the cab contest if they just joined the Discord?
There's a channel. There's a category in a channel um for people to talk in, and it has like the basic information for the this month's contest in it. There's some pinned messages in there that you can refer to, and then there'll be a thread below that where you can view the submissions, and I'd like to keep the chat out of there just so we can see the submitters, what they say, and what they're presenting to us.
That's awesome. I think that that's a really cool. It's kind of like going to the art gallery. So you get to see the cab, and there's something special about the way that the cabs are being presented too. So
Yeah.
why don't you talk about that really quick?
So the formatting to show that you did the work within the month, we're requiring one picture to be of the slab or rough or whatever material was before you worked it, so we can identify that, it came from there. A side profile view so we can see that it is domed because this is a traditional cabochon contest, and then also a overhead or frontal view of the stone so we can see both the shape and the content in which the stone presents.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's been fun to hear the stories for the different stones, or at least what the person sees. Now last week we definitely had a cool little montage of some of the stones that were being submitted for the contest, and we could see what the person saw, but a lot of people saw other things too.
Yeah,
And
that's what's
so
really cool about this theme in particular is everyone sees things just a little bit different, and once we all start sharing what we see, then we're like, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and that makes it a lot of fun.
right? Like there's not just a dude like smoking a bubble pipe, there's a
Right.
ghost in there.
Hmm.
Super not random. And so thank you, Ma, for putting the Discord link up there. I heard some people popping into the Discord like right afterwards. There was like a
Great.
nice little trickle of beeps there. And so thank you so much. This is funny. My mom is suggesting a competition for portals, which is a really cool concept. Mom, you have to win the competition to be able to dictate what the next subject is, so you could always win the
Yep.
competition. Thank you. And so I guess like that whole thing that is going on with the Discord, and if you guys have some questions about our Discord contest, definitely post them in the chat, and we can either us or any of the mods over there can go ahead and answer your questions. But that kind of leads me to part two. I think this is a three-part situation here. Um, so cab making, it sounds like it should just be like, yeah, you go make a cab. But I did see up here, and Soul, welcome into the chat. Good to see you this evening. Was saying something about not being able to get past stage one. Now, is that with your cab? And I know that there can be some tricky things. And so I think if anybody here has seen Jaw Hicks work, uh, or your freeform lapidary, or Caleb, or whichever name we're going by, you probably know what a total pro at cutting he is. And so what would you suggest for somebody who is just getting into cabbing?
Um, to keep it simple, I would really suggest doing freeform shapes. It can be a little much to take on getting perfect ovals or perfect circles when you don't quite have the feel for what you're doing yet. So just getting down to that basic shape of just any shape that is not something symmetrical, because that is where the most difficulty comes in if you really have an eye for perfection. Getting that thing just on top, like just perfect, it means a lot to you when that's the goal. So freeform shape, absolutely the best way to start off. Just go for it, get the rough shaping down, and then start working in on your, like your facets and getting that girdle set and getting the dome set. And there's a lot of little steps that you can take in there. And yeah, that's probably a good area to start.
Raise your hand if you've had like a big generous sized cab planned in a symmetrical shape that keeps on getting smaller and smaller and smaller
Yep.
because you keep on turning it to like get the one side to match the other side and then wait, that doesn't look right either. And so
Yep.
yeah, and then here's another thing. So she's saying that she had a beautiful piece of Nevada opal that she shaped into an arrowhead, and when she washed off the grit, it broke, almost cried, and I'm so sorry
Oh
for you.
no.
And so here's another question for you. Is there a material that you would suggest for a beginner cabbing?
Um, yeah, actually I would. I know it's gonna seem kind of not the best way, but I actually cut my teeth once I got my cabbing machine on the harder materials. 'Cause before that, when I was started working, I was doing like sandpaper and Dremel stuff, and working harder materials with that is painful. So, but once I got my machine in the hard wheels, I actually started off with agates and petrified woods and jaspers. And what I found with that was because it's so hard, it's much more difficult to get out of a line with what your goal is. So if you are trying to do something symmetrical, it takes more work to get out of that funk than if you were working with something soft. It's so easy to overcut with softer materials. So even though it'll work faster going through the whole machine, the harder ones definitely are easier to kind of gradually work your way to what you're trying to achieve.
That is great advice. It's counterintuitive.
Hmm.
Some people might be intimidated, like, "Oh, no, it's an agate. Ah." I don't recommend starting with Montana agate.
I probably wouldn't either. I might have. I had quite a bit of it when I started, and I definitely cut my teeth on some of that.
Yeah, so there might be tears there, but, agates and, like, jasp agates and, I would say even, I happened upon what I believe is serpentinite. You guys get to see that very soon, and some of these things can be easier to cut. And as Jahik said, you might end up overcutting and that sort of thing. But, put up a nice polish and can give you some instant grat. Give yourself a break, and if you're doing one cab at a time because you're on either a flat lap or you're on the Dremel tool type thing, and you just want to see one from the beginning all the way through to the end without working multiples, um, really really give yourself a break. Do something that's an easy shape that if you mess up a little bit, that you can kind of fix easily. And that's one area where some of the softer materials is a little easier, is that
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
come up.
jump wheels and move around a little bit more easily, trying to get out some facets or just a little scratch that's being pesky. But yeah.
We're not like we're not picking on Montana by no shape. Like Allison's here. I was going to disagree and say not Montana agate, but I do agree. They are harder to mess up, but harder to polish the scratches out as well. So can test your patience. And so some people like to use the um oh my gosh, the word just went right out of my head. Uh the thing that you lay over the top and you draw the shapes through it
A
like
template.
a template. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Cheers, everyone. Steinkerns. Make sure that you're
Cheers.
hydrated. Template. And so, do you like to use a template? Do you recommend it for beginners? Do you think that that's going to help or hinder?
I think of both. I think they're great to use. I definitely used them when I started. Um, when I really was trying to work on when I really was trying to work on symmetrical things, I bought a whole bunch of templates, and that's what I started trying to do so I could try to learn the symmetry. Um, but like I said, when I started, I did do a lot of free forms too, and so I kind of threw those aside. It just kind of depended on what my goals were at the time in my progress. But yeah, definitely when I was going for symmetrical, templates are the way. It can be kind of hard to eyeball a a nicely shaped oval that's within, kind of like a set parameter, if you're not used to it. So definitely templates are good in that regard.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. And then also, if you're trying to make a stone that goes into a setting, like, a lot of people like to buy the setting that's already done, which is great. If that's your way to get into some jewelry and being able to rock one of your very own pieces, please do that. But that does mean that you have to, use the template or the stencil to find that exact shape, cut that exact shape out, and then calibrate it so that it fits into a setting.
Yeah.
And so that might be a little bit more on the challenging side. Like, that might want to
Oh
be
yeah.
one of your stones on down the road a little bit, and maybe make a few stones that are good for wire wrapping to begin
Oh
with.
yeah.
Again, like, for free form shapes are awesome
Yeah.
for wire wrapping. And so maybe do some free forms to get the feeling of your machine and that sort of
Oh
thing if
yeah.
you've got one. Yeah.
Yeah, learn the process, learn how to polish first, then start working on the finer details of your shapes, your girdles, the height of your dome, how even everything is. But just get the polishing down, understand the machine, the wheels, the process, and then you can refine, refine, refine.
Absolutely. And so you said that you started with the rotary tool, which,
Hmm.
a Fordham or a Dremel or a Chicago tool, just
Yep,
whatever rotary tool that is. And I know that a lot of people think, like, can I really get, a decent job done with something like that? What would you say?
absolutely. I definitely would lean towards softer things. Like when I was really into opals at the time, and so I cut all my first opals with a Dremel and on some of them even just by hand with wet and dry sandpaper
Oh,
until I
wow.
figured it out. So you can absolutely accomplish those goals. Even turquoise, some of the softer stuff that they'll still work. Um, yeah, it's totally possible. I did it for like a year before, or maybe a year and a half before I got a cabbing machine. I was working with that stuff.
Awesome. So I think kind of what I'm hearing is, like, you might want to try something like that, especially cabbing machines aren't cheap.
Yeah.
And so maybe trying your hand at the rotary machine and that sort of thing first might tell you a few things, like, I love doing this. I
Yes.
don't like doing this. It can teach you about some of the different stages before you get to another machine. Also, training your eye for, like, okay, these scratches are okay to go on to the next level with, and these ones aren't, or the facets or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I highly endorse. That's how I started too. Was with the rotary tool for all intents and purposes. And then you also have a flat lap. What would you say about flat lapping?
It's a good next step after the Dremel process. Um, there's a number of flat laps out there you can get. High tech's really popular. The wheels and the discs, or sorry, all the discs and the felt discs that you can get for that will definitely get you through. There's some really amazing lapidary artists out there that do wonders with these things. I struggle with that thing. But I do have one. I do use it sometimes. But it is possible to get really good with that. And there's even ways to kind of upgrade the quality of what you're using within that too. So there's even more little stepping stones to getting better in there.
Absolutely. And I also feel like I know several people that have the flat lap either because it was part of their progression, their evolution into having a cabber. But I also know several of them that got it in addition to because they like doing their bottoms that way and that
Oh
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
There's certain, like if you're dopping or doing any kind of stuff where you need to start with a flat surface, then that might be a really good answer. And so if you have like an absolute, your heart is full of the need of having a cabbing machine, you might still also do the demi step with the flat lap because you might end up needing it anyway. That,
Hmm. I
maybe.
use it quite often for flattening the backs of stuff if my saw cuts weren't too true, or even when I work a lot of turquoise when I'm using epoxy and things like that for backing. I need to flatten that back out because you do it on a cookie sheet or something with paper. It's still going to have a little bit of a curve, and you don't want that when your intention is to have a stone set in silver, so or in a setting. So yeah, you definitely want to clean that up, get that nice and flat, and that's the best way. You can do it on the wheels, but it's hard to get it just right. Sometimes you get just a little bit of an arch there. And what that can, even just a little bit of arch, that tiny little hair of space, if pressure gets put, if it's like a long enough stone or a bigger stone, enough pressure right there will snap. It'll fracture right there in the center where that arch is. So you definitely want to
Yeah.
get rid of that stuff. The flat lap is great for that.
Yeah, ask any jewelry setter and ask them about like snapping a stone in half, not knowing that it might have had a little rock to it, like a
Hmm.
rocker. If it's doing that in the setting, you all of a sudden are just sweating cold bullets because of what Jaya just said. And Ken here, the new pads made all the difference. I got one done and then the cold hit, but I am so happy I figured out what was going wrong. Oh, right on. And so, yet another way to do some polishing is with like the wet angle grinder
Oh
and that
yeah.
sort of thing. And so, I mean, shoot, if you're making really big cabs, or if you wanted to use the like a fixed angle grinder, I don't know, like how, like, I don't know that I'm endorsing this. I don't want anybody to come after my channel because they tried it, but I know a lot of people that put like um their rotary tool in a vise and they use it as a fixed tool, and I would imagine that there's ways of doing that also with the wet angle grinder where you can just like get down. I actually do it the obverse. I put my stone in a vise and
Mm,
I'm usually just doing like a face polish. Love it. Great
it works
summer
really well.
activity on a hot day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Ken. And it's so good to hear that you have an improvement and that you're getting the fine polish going on your stuff. And let's see. So they're talking about dopping in the chat. And so the do you dop, and how do you feel about the different ways of dopping?
I do dop. I don't always dop. If a stone's big enough that I can work it with my fingers, I feel like I can work faster in that way. I have a really good touch. I can feel the stone, feel my how even I'm doing and everything, and I'm constantly drying stones off and checking it out. So I can do it without. Definitely for smaller stones, I dop. I use green dopping wax. I have that generic dop pot that everybody has. Use it often, and I actually also use it if I'm working kind of like a higher quality material and I really want that precision. I will definitely dop, especially for symmetrical. Symmetrical for me is a lot easier being dopped because I can go quicker around my corners and not take so much off. I can really keep the shape honed in there. Um, I have done the super glue and a nail method that works just fine, gets you by. Same with epoxy methods. All are good, just depends on what works for you. I even have the little torches, not torches, but the little flame uh, to do it that way, to heat up the wax that way and apply stones. That's
Your
not my
little
favorite way.
alcohol jar with
Uh
the
huh. Yeah,
mix.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite way. It is useful to have multiple of these options in a pinch. Like, you don't, if you can't wait half an hour for your dopping wax pot to get heated up enough, having the flame source available gets you by real quick. And the same with super glue and all kinds of other things.
And if you don't have one of those alcohol dealies, this will also help you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if you need to do like a quick redop, because
Oh
there
yeah.
ain't nothing like, that stone a flying off and going someplace in your studio. And then like Jahik was saying, you don't want to have to heat the whole thing, your little dop pot, your little cauldron of
Yep.
witch's brew that you have. You can just go ahead and either use an alcohol lamp or a little torch and be right back to the races. Just remember that you need to heat both your stone and your wax. I think that that's one of the reason why I might space and throw a stone for that. And then green dop wax is the devil. Thank
Okay.
you, Benjamin.
It can be. When it fails on me, I would agree with that.
And he's talking about having scars from that stuff. Yeah, there's
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's a lot of techniques that you can use to try not to burn yourself, but
Yeah.
it seems like
Wet your fingers.
yeah.
So once you get your stone heated and your wax applied real quick, I keep a little thing of water there so I can cool it off fast. I just wet my fingers and push it on up. It creates a nice barrier there to prevent the sticking.
Yeah, I use water too. I actually my dot pot is in the bathroom near the studio. And so I literally like I just spread out into other rooms, with projects. And so
Yeah.
the bathroom becomes the dopping station. Whatever. But I saw you just run the faucet. But yeah, using a bit of water with that. And then CA glue which is super glue, is absolutely fine for a
Hmm.
lot of things. And sometimes it'll fail and sometimes it doesn't. It seems like some rocks like some adhesives and don't like others.
Yep.
And so having a few different tools in your toolkit to throw at something if it's like being naughty is kind of a cool thing to
Yeah.
keep your project going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have variety.
Yeah, and so there's the CA glue, and then I also use quite a bit of resin. And so
Okay.
if something's not working out with the CA or the wax, oftentimes I'll go ahead and stick something on with CA so that it takes that immediate bond, and then I'll go ahead and do like the reinforcing factor of the epoxy to make sure for regular lapidary, like making cabs, it's not as important, but with the faceting, you can't have something come off the dop. You just can't.
Yeah, can imagine. I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's almost impossible to get it set right again, right? Like you're kind of just screwed there.
you're pretty like there are certain cuts where you might be able to eyeball so darn close that you get away with it,
Mm,
but for the most part, it's over. Yeah,
yeah.
and so you just really don't wanna have that happen, and so, yeah, it's worth, taking some extra steps and extra adhesives just to make sure that stuff doesn't happen, and it ends up happening anyway. Like tourmaline and fire opals and other kinds of opal love to jump out of their dop. It's got a lot to do with the way that your stone is heating
Okay.
within. Yeah, and so you just have to walk with caution and sort of know like the subtle nuances. It usually happens when you've been at it for too long and you forget like
Right.
I I'm going too long without letting this stone cool type thing. Yeah.
Mm.
So, what would you say your biggest terrifying horror story, like with a cabochon, like saddest cabochon you broke, or worst
Oh,
cabochon tragedy?
Yeah, going into a barber shop carrying a really nice, large green turquoise cabochon, and when I took off my sweatshirt, the cabochon flew out of my pocket and bounced across the concrete floor in the barber shop and broke into multiple pieces. That was pretty devastating. I
No.
was so excited. I cut it right before I was like going somewhere after, so I took it with me to show somebody. And yeah, that's pretty devastating. And I've had a a handful of large opals, Australian opals, fracture just in the final steps and moments, or having a failure when you go to remove it from the dop wax happens sometimes as well, and it's painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
expensive stuff is always the most painful, or the thing you love and you have so little of it, and when it fails, it all hurts the same.
yeah. Yeah. So I guess there's another really good recommendation is if you're beginning, don't work on stuff that's really super expensive. Like don't work on your very favorite turquoise
Yep.
first. Like definitely work your way up to that. And I always like you said, I like working stuff that I have more of.
Hmm.
'Cause if something
Backup
goes wrong
plan.
with that one piece, you're like, "No."
Yep.
Yeah, and so just one more rock. Welcome in. Thank you so much. And I wanted to say hello to Sierra. I know you got here a while back, but I didn't really get a chance to say hello to you, Sierra Hounder. This is very helpful info for me since I want to get a bit more serious about my lapidary work. I've back off lately, but I'm getting motivated here. Excellent. Yeah, that's the idea. We're sharing the stoke.
Yeah. We want more people to do it. It's fun. Come along. Let's go.
For sure. Yeah,
You got
and
cabs to cut.
you do. And you don't have a better community to hang out with for that either. Everybody
All
is
right.
so helpful that if you have any issues, just depending on wherever you like to hang out, like in Facebook or in the Discord or among these chats here in the rock hounding community, it if you have a question, you're probably going to get 10 answers. They might be different, but at least you have like some different, options for solutions and that sort of thing. But seriously, I think that's the one thing that we all have in common is that we're just so stoked on this stuff. We can't wait until like be one of us,
Yeah.
come to the dark
Yeah.
side. Definitely want to work on the different stones. And so yeah, if you had some questions, here's a nice one here. BDN Star is asking, I am new at cabbing, is it better to start with making large cabs, question mark? What do you think?
uh yeah, I guess because it can kind of help you have a bigger surface to work on your polishing progression. Seeing like the details and removing your scratches, your facets, getting your shape down. It can be kind of helpful. Plus, if you're not dopping, it's easier to work with your hands. Dopping large stones can be kind of a pain to keep them on. So yeah, definitely. Because, like I said earlier, the focus on getting the polish right first and worry less about the shape and all the other little details. You'll figure that out as you go and get the touch for it. But focus on the polishing. Like a lot of the stuff when I first got my machine would be just taking a rough chunk and just dome this. You don't even have to do like a large cab. You can just take this. It's the same principle, and just work on getting the polishing down. Learn the machine.
That
Learn
is
the
an
process.
awesome bit of advice. Like play.
Yeah, just have fun. Play. You'll figure it out. It's not that difficult. But as you progress your technique, there is some nuances there to learn. But it's not that hard.
And there are like again on YouTube, it seems like if you want to learn anything short of neurosurgery, you can learn it here on YouTube. And so there's lots of really cool videos. Or if you want to watch, we do these live videos where people are just doing kind of like a work in. We're all just working in our studios doing different things. It's so interesting to see people working without you really feeling like, you're hanging over somebody's shoulder or they're trying to show you how to do something. If you just see the way that they handle the rocks while they're actually doing the thing, not even trying to teach you, that's if you learn it all visually, that is like a super amazing resource. I learned so much from watching Jahik and Ryan and Lapidary Dave and Kyle and the other people that show themselves working. You end up doing something almost intuitively, and you're like, oh, I totally remember watching somebody else do this, and this is why they're doing it. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah,
And
you get
with
a
the
lot of
flat lappers,
information.
yeah, Melissa, she's showing herself on our lives quite a bit doing the flat lapping and stuff like that. And so, yeah, if you're curious or if you are wanting to get better, watch the technique of some of the other lapidaries. And of
Yeah,
course, there are also written things. So if you are more of a reader and less of a visual, then there's a lot of stuff that you can find on the internet that will help you, like different articles from like Lapidary magazine and stuff like that, that will definitely help you with your cabochons from 101 on up.
yeah.
And Ken had this question. Whoa, I just got rid of it. Where did it go? So, exact opposite question. What was the most unexpectedly amazing stone that you ever cut? Great question, Ken.
That is. Mm, I have. It's hard to say exact. I have cut some pieces that they were basically just rough stones. You couldn't really see what was going on inside, and once you cut into it, you're surprised. You might learn what the material is, or maybe you don't, but it just has incredible pattern to it. Some rocks often come out of the ground with a crust or something that's just unrecognizable to what's inside, from what's inside. And so I've had a lot of those little moments where I cut into something not knowing what's going on here, just testing it out, going like, holy shit, it's cool colors, cool patterns, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I think that one of the most exciting things about doing lapidary at all is that surprise where something, you open up something and it's like way better than you ever thought it was going to be. It just happens so often. It's like the last
Absolutely.
thing that you cut is the answer to that question, like over and
Yeah,
over again.
it's a good example. This piece of rock that I had just shown as an example, like this really doesn't look like much. It looks like rusty dirt rock, and you might just pass over it in the desert. And then once you get it wet, it has this really awesome poppy pattern inside.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at that.
That's the kind of joy that you'll get from just cutting into some random stuff sometimes. I had no idea
Right.
what this was when I picked it up. I could see that there was kind of some pattern stuff going on that looked poppy-ish, but just in like little spots that you can't tell too much. And then once I got home and started cutting it, that's what you get.
Wow. Well, that's a bell ringer, and so is Love Faith. Thank you so much.
Oh,
There I was trying to get the bell in the shot, and I hit myself in the head. So I rang my own bell. Love Faith. Thank you so much for that. And I know I'm getting a little bit behind, and you guys are asking wonderful questions, but also it looks like you're exchanging really, really valuable advice amongst yourselves, which I really appreciate. Rufo just talked about this for face polishing, Jeff. The smaller, the easier. The bigger faces can be a pain. I always use a Sharpie for flat face polishes. And so, do you want to fill in anybody who's listening what the Sharpie on the face might help with, Caleb?
sure. It helps you identify your scratches. Some stones can be kind of hard to see, or you can see them, but you can't really tell how deep they are. And as you start polishing, those deeper scratches won't be getting polished before the shallower ones are. And so when you mark a stone over with the Sharpie, it fills in all that black and it's really identifiable. And then you can keep just working down. And so you can just check yourself as you go. I used to do that a bit when I was learning. Um, just to kind of gauge how much more I need to go on certain wheels or what scratches I left behind. That's a really good one because especially in your rougher grits, when you hit 280, if you didn't clean up everything from like 220 and uh, or 120 or 180 or whatever, you'll see the difference in the scratch thickness and depth. You can see kind of multiple things going on. So I can tell you like, oh, I need to go back even further. So it's just a really useful tool.
Absolutely. Um, and so different people, I think, boops, Chris, and hello, Jennifer, and thank you so much. As far as there were a few different people in the chat that were talking about like not planning on doing this, but love watching you guys do it. Which it is. It's almost like alchemy. Like that stone that you just showed that was just dusty rock, and then you cut it open and you see these like orbicular magical bubbles going on inside. Oh my gosh! And so I know that I would be watching this even if I didn't do it
Oh
because
yeah.
it's just so darn cool.
Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot. I mean, before I even started, that's how I started. I was watching YouTube creators. I was first like raw counting, and eventually like, oh, people, are polishing stuff. Let's start diving in. And I watched tons of videos before, and that's kind of how I gauged my path. I learned like, oh, there's ways to start, and we'll start there and see. Like you said earlier, if I even liked it, it's so easy to go out and spend a bunch of money on something and realize you don't like it that much, and you kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah. And you have like a huge machine in your garage, like gathering dust. Although, that's what some of us look for is like we're going to those yard sales and estate sales, hoping that somebody just, never, got the big machine and it just never caught on. But I'm not hoping that for any of you guys, other than if you score one, but not that you don't like it.
Right.
Um, and let's see, we've got um, I'm imagining, Tim, and thank you for joining us. That you were suggesting to immerse a gem. If you wipe some of the stone, you can see the scratches as well. And so that's a really important thing I think to bring up. And you said, Caleb, that you were having an interesting conversation via the chat with Kyle, kind of about that, like letting some, on some stages, you got to let that bad boy dry so that you can see
Right.
what kind of scratches you have. Go ahead and fill us in on that.
Yeah, it's really easy to kind of miss some spots with scratches or facets, or if you're getting some kind of other undercutting or whatever, a little gouge out. It can be kind of easy to miss sometimes. So, in between stages, making sure that the finish that you're getting from each grit is where it needs to be, and you'll develop the eye for that over time. The more you do it, you'll know what the 220 looks like. You'll know what the 280 looks like, and it's easier to identify. But some stones are difficult still to see. White stones, white agates, or whatever, they're hard to see the scratches. You need a little bit more help. And so most all machines come with like a light is your friend. It can help. You can dry a stone off, run it across the light. You can see some of the little things you might be missing. And yeah, use everything at your disposal.
Awesome. And you can even buy this product that Tim Taylor is talking about, Immersagem. Get it at a store near you. And so, yeah, that's honestly something that I haven't heard of. So
Me
forgive
neither.
me. And it sounds like it's a super cool tool to see about your scratches. And so I agree. Use what you have at your disposal, and then you're going to learn as you go along. And
Right.
so don't beat yourself up for not knowing that those scratches were too deep and you have to go back. So do it.
Right.
Let's go back.
Yeah. Just do it.
Okay.
Go back.
Yep,
Just a little bit more time, and that's how you get better.
for sure. Yeah, there's I love Theo always calls it failing forward. And so
Right.
if you have like a super like interesting piece of chewing gum rock looking thing that you are not super stoked on, put that up on the shelf anyway, because you're going to look back on that and go like, yeah. Look
Yep.
at you. I failed forward though. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, give yourself a chance to do the stuff right. Mistakes are the learning blocks of knowledge. Oh
That's right.
yeah, sometimes those learning blocks are made out of rocks. So
Mm-hmm.
for sure. All right, and so thank you for all of your whys. You guys are welcome to ask more questions or have more discussion in the chat. But I do want to get on to the next subject, which is you are now freeform lapidary. You must tell us what this late breaking news is that you're not jaw hick right now in that little square.
So I created a new YouTube account, or a YouTube account. I didn't have one before, like for putting content out. This is going to be my little model going forward. I chose the name because, like I said earlier, I love cutting freeforms, and I like the idea of freeform because it's unbound by anything. So whenever I come into my shop, I don't often have a kind of set plan with what I'm going to be doing. I just start rummaging through stuff, finding things, and just start going. And that's just kind of how I work in here. It's hard for me to sit down and cut, 10 cabs of the same material. I'll just keep going, and I'll keep doing different shapes and let the material speak to me. And so with my channel, I hope to bring you guys along. On that adventure, learning more in lapidary and rock counting and everything else in general. Uh, yeah, that's about it.
Yes. So Ma is asking if she should link your new channel. Is that
Sure.
okay? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I do have, and the reason I'm coming on as this tonight is because I'm actually putting a video out tonight. It's
How
going to be a
exciting, everyone.
little rock counting video for you guys, and it's actually in about 30 minutes it's supposed to premiere. So when we're done here, if you guys feel like jumping over there, be able to chat with you and talk with you as we go. Yeah, appreciate you coming, checking it out.
Woohoo! All right. And so what time is that set for?
7:45.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect timing. Okay, and so everybody is like scrambling and making a wonderful fuss over this fabulous thing that you're doing. Everybody's also trying to find it, and so it looks like Ma has provided the link. So hit this link. James Rich, welcome in. He just posted the link, or Ma just did, and good to see you, Travis. In a world where lapidary is unbound, one man makes free forms.
I
Thank
love that.
you. Right. Now we needed Kyle to do the voice because he does the movie voice way
Mm.
better. But yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And look, your sub count just went ka-chow.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
everybody's going subs. Yeah, here's
Looking forward to
that.
bringing you guys along. A lot of you guys have seen my work that I put out in the Discord. You just don't usually get to see how it's all made. And I do lives in the lounge in the Discord. So some of you guys have seen me do that there, and you're welcome to come join us for those. But yeah, this is a way for more of you to see.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and welcome in, Squirrel. Good to see you. And yeah, yeah. Let's see if we can get him to 500 subs in 10 minutes.
Jeez.
He'll give away one of the totes in his studio.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could.
Oh, I'm being facetious. I'll take that tote. I'll be right down. Oh, and thank you so much, Soul. Making sure to like all the videos and this one too. Thank you so much. And yeah, this is going to be super fun. We'll go ahead and make sure that we're all wrapped up by the time. And then if one of the wrenches, which thank you, Rufo and Ken and Melissa and Allison and J and V, Rock Hounding. Thank y'all. Lisa also, but she's in bed sick right now. Hope you are feeling better. Thank you guys all for modding tonight. And then so if one of y'all could remember to keep that link fresh so that we can pop it in the chat right at the end, that would be super cool because we're all going to go ahead and take this party over there. And Resort Dog, good to see you. There's always a broken tote to replace, right? You can send the broken one. That was very well played. All right. And so, yeah, Oliver, you are a rock professor, sir. This is so true. Oh,
I got a lot to learn, but thank you.
You know, and that's why he's so smart, is because if you always know that there's more, then you've probably collected a lot on the way, right? To
Right.
where you are right now. And so, but I would agree with that. Just don't tell him that. And shoes. I can't pin the link, Tomcat. I'm in the StreamYard instead of being over on the YouTube. And so that would be something that maybe Ahmad might be able to do. But we'll drop it in the chat on the way down. And so, Jahik, Caleb, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you're feeling better. I know that you've been under the weather,
I
sir.
have. I've been pretty sick this past week, and you'll definitely hear that in the videos. So forgive me a little bit on that one. We'll do better in the future when we're not sounding so horrible.
Aw, well, the voice sounds fine to us. We always love hearing it. It's so cool seeing your face to go along with the voice. You know, we're used to hearing it in the background while we're looking at the plethora of stones that you have in your studio. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, walking around on stones and moccasins. And so it's cool to see. And
Guilty.
so what I'll do is I'll let you go. We're only about half an hour and 5 minutes away from your opening or something like that. I can math a little bit. And so thank you so much again for coming on, and we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, sounds good. See you later, everybody.
Cheers. All right. Wow. How cool to see Jahik in living color, and to be looking at some of his rocks here in a short minute when we get over to his place in about a half an hour. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. What I'll show you guys right now is a video that I took of a rock that became a cabochon. So some of you who have been thinking, you know, you've got your wheels spinning about taking that rock and transforming it. We've got like a quick transformation to watch. Let me go ahead and put this
really
right now.
surgy. It's going out, but it would love to get us wet today. And so I did pick this up down there, but decided that it would be better to relocate up the beach. But you can see this is a pretty nicely colored bit of what I would assume is Oregon jade, which is fancy jasper that is green. And I suspect probably like a serpentinite or something like that, or truly just jasper. But a beautiful piece. We'll cut this back at home and we'll see what's inside. Down on the beach, we picked up this guy, and I promised we'd cut it open, so let's do that now. I have a feeling it's going to be a little like cutting open some Irish Spring, but we do have some gemminess here, and so I don't know. We could get a surprise. I'm not sure. Nice little pocket of something there. Let's cut it. Fresh off the saw, and I'll tell you, I wasn't going to cut the whole thing, but Ochiko, who's crying back there, thought maybe that would be a good idea. So I'll show you why. He's crying because he doesn't get the stones. Look at that. That's pretty neat stuff. Aw, poor Wahi. They're just jealous. That's some pretty cool green material. We'll see more of that. I think we'll take one of these and try a cabochon. And I like the cool design, kind of a sunshine design going on there. And we have some variety to the greens. And so we'll try this guy.
right. And so that there is this right here. And so the let's see if I can get a better layout there. There we go. When I put it on the little palettes like I do, it always reminds me of a sushi plate. So here's your sashimi of green beach rock, and thank you guys. It shined up really really nice, really amazing. My brother actually was like, "Hey, I are you going to do something with that rock?" I just picked it up because it was a big green rock. And he's like, "Well, you should do something with that." I'm like, okay. And so I started to slab it. I usually, like I said in the video, don't slab them all, or I won't slab clear through a stone. I'll just take a couple pieces and see what's what. But I liked it. I started, just the wet pieces like you saw it in the video. I was like, you kind of got a little something something going on." And so the the upside was that the color was really impressive. The downside was that this is in fact, I believe, a serpentinite. And so, a serpentine style rock. And it did break through the cabbing process, and so it went from being one shape to this one. And so that is definitely one of the things I wanted to show this guy to you guys, not only to tantalize you, because we do find that rock during the video that I'm working on right now, and I promise you guys I will finish it soon. But also that sometimes it doesn't work out right away, and you can definitely make some lemonade. It was going to just be a bigger cabochon, and now it's this size, which is still plenty big enough. I think it would pair very very nicely with a kind of a teal tourmaline, maybe a champagne sunstone, something like that. And could pop it straight into a piece of jewelry and have it become something pretty. But I did want to encourage you, because this is a start to finish. You guys saw me pick it up off of the beach. You saw me cut it, selecting something that looked good in the slabs, and then going for it. And really, I encourage you, just try it. Just try it. You'll like it. And thank you so much for all of the wonderful things that you guys are saying. Kid, good to see you tonight. Extra wasabi, please. Yeah, it looks like the wasabi has already been added to this one. Aw, and James, thank you. All right. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. Cheers, Karen. Lots of pretty green Oregon serpentine, right? Oh, the serp is good in this region for sure. Especially the farther south you go, it just gets better and better. You got some really noble stuff down there. And let's see. It used to fool us for Happy Camp Jade until it dries. Right, right. And Jade dries looking wet still. And so I knew that I didn't have any of that kind of stuff, but I still thought, I'm gonna give you a shine and see what happens. And I hate to admit this, but I like that as much as some of the Veracite that I've cut. It's just softer, but it didn't fall apart quite as quickly as the Veracite did. So I still really like it. Oh my gosh, Mr. Turtle Montana, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yay! I love you guys. You're awesome. That's 15 new memberships tonight. You guys are so cool. And is it petrified avocado toast? Ken is already playing the Discord game. What is it that we're making the cabochon out of? Definitely petrified avocado toast. It's being served at a sushi bar near you. Ask for extra wasabi with it. And Wisconsin, Rock Stalker, very nice to have you in the chat. Welcome. Always amazing how much difference it's between natural and cabbed, right? Yeah, like if you look at one of the things that I love is when you keep like one of the end cuts, like this guy, and then you have that to kind of relate your before and after shot to. You know, sometimes you can kind of tell like you might be kind of cool on the inside or not. This could have gone either way. It definitely went my way. I am so pleased with that little cab. I can't wait to set it. It happens to be one of my mom's favorite colors, and since my brother and I found it, I mean, she probably needs more jewelry since she makes jewelry and I make jewelry. She probably needs more jewelry, like a hole in the head. But then again, she doesn't have this piece. So, anyways, all right. Thank you, you guys. And so yeah, the full circle rock experience. Seems like I needed to say hi to somebody else who was here that maybe I didn't say hi to yet. You guys, Serp and Terp. That's great, Rocky Mountain Bear. Hello, that's fantastic. So, anyways, here's this little guy. Yeah, right. I know. It just we all love rocks so much. Why not? Or maybe Krampus. Right. So group hallucination experience possibly. I did want to show a couple more of the cabochons. We're just going to bring you right up to Jaw Hicks Live. Give you something to do up until then. So we've got these guys here, and you're all familiar with Arizona rock hounding expeditions. They're crazy jasper. So here's a lump of that right here that I had to get into, and I will tell you what, it is really hard to not just go all the way through this lump and just polish it all right now. It is so cool. And so these two guys here on the right, and you saw some of these in the opening montage. These are from that. And that red that you're seeing there is from my sign. But other than that, you know, you can see there's just a lot of really, really neat colors going on. I like freeform lapidary too. Not only the new channel, but also doing those kinds of designs have always been my pleasure as well, since I'm the one that sets most of my cabochons. What a totally crazy situation is going on inside that rock, huh? And so I delight in having unique shapes that also are inspiring to create interesting jewelry designs around. And so this little firecracker absolutely made my day. I love that. There's a fingerprint on it, but otherwise, let me tell you that this guy didn't even undercut, which some of the material may or may not. You know, you kind of expect that when you have a lot of different hardnesses of things. But and don't mind my fingernails. I've been grinding them down on my lapidary machine. So another thing that we didn't talk about when we were talking about cab making is, you know, you might want to really make sure you've got eye protection and ventilation, and then also sometimes finger protection, because I have worn out my fingernails something fierce on my wheels already. And I want to countertop out of that, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, Brian. Very, very appreciative of all of your kind words about the pretties. And that's strange. Hopefully, your comments are coming through. Perhaps you are in the top chat instead of the live chat. And Ken might have already gone to bed. He was around a little bit earlier. Thank you so much, you guys. And so this is some of the material from some of their red. I think I showed this maybe a week or two ago. But again, a freeform cab from here's our rough. And so when we have these, like these, I would, consider slablets type things. What are we doing? How do we frame when we are looking at some of these slablets? How do we choose what it is that we're going to make out of it? Do we just kind of grind until we have a shape? Do we cut it? Do we like do the marker and choose an actual shape and then cut with a saw and accomplish it that way? How do you decide what it is that you're even going to frame? Let me get this bad boy wet. There's a couple things that you could frame in that. Hopefully this is coming through on the graphic as well as I'm seeing it. So this is some of the Arizona Rock Hounding Expeditions Crazy Jasper. And I swear I need boxes and boxes and boxes of all this stuff. It's just breathtaking. And so, like a somewhat rhetorical question, where do you even begin with stuff like this? And that's why I actually really like slablets, because it's already begun. Like I know what I'm working with this little guy. And so it's just a matter of, and you can see, I love it when the rocks give you the shape. This is a gift, oh look, it wants to be kind of like a diamond. And so just start roughing it out and see what the stone wants to express. How cool is that? Oftentimes they're going to come up with much more elegant designs than something that perhaps you could come up with too. And I have a question here. What beach did you find the beautiful serpentine again? I didn't mention it. It was south of, like it's Central Coast, kind of on the souther reaches, a ways down in between kind of Newport and Florence. I'll give you that. I honestly I lose track because we typically end up going to many different places when we go. And thank you so much, Freeform Friday. I love it. And it's about to come true. It is about to come true, since we are going to get Mr. Jahik started here in a bit. I'm going to show you one more sushi tray. I have more to show, but we'll have to, there's always more for next time. And because we've been so utterly crazy busy, I've missed some of the studio lives and stuff like that. Of course, getting you guys videos. So we're going to see more of each other here in the next couple weeks to make up for that. Okay, so this last one. Oh, and thank you, Benjamin. Kid Curry asked what undercutting was. And undercutting is when the material is mixed to hardness. So softer material grinds away first and makes it uneven. So, sometimes like seams and pocks and things like that get ground down faster by the wheels. And so you get uneven terrain called undercutting. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for answering that question. I knew I had dropped something. And remember, Freeform Lapidary starting here in just a matter of minutes. I think we've got 7 minutes before that starts. And so there is your link. We'll be ready to go over there. And oh crap, there's the flint. Dun, dun, dun. And Kid Curry, thank you so much. Okay, and so actually this is my current favorite cab right now. And it did come off of the Ohio Flint, and I'm telling you, the lighting in here is totally washing this out. It's got like way more reds and pinks in it than is being conveyed by this very cold light. this cold light. But yeah, this was actually a chunk that broke off while I was cutting these other chunks off of this main guy here. And I was like, since it broke, because I'm actually cutting this for Melissa, Ma. This is technically this might be Ma's rock. We're probably gonna have to negotiate, but so yeah, I cut the chunk, and this kind of flayed off of the main brick, and I was like, I'll go ahead and just polish it up to see how this polishes, and watch that dance around on that. But you guys, like all the patterns that happen on the inside of this material, so pretty. And I just got to show you this guy last, because we're talking about finding things in the stones, right? So do you see something happening here in this stone? Like this is more accurate, the color that's even in that little cabochon, way more like the warm reds and that sort of thing. And so it is. Thank you so much, Mark Lee. And thank you, Melissa. Really, really, really appreciated it. Yes, a howling wolf, right? Oh my gosh. I was like, and I will tell you this right now. I watch Mystery Science Theater way, way too often, MST3K. And the one about the werewolf was on, and I was like, get all the way out of Dodge. Is it because I'm watching that I'm seeing this, or what? And so let's see. Dog chasing a rabbit. Yeah, like I was seeing a dog chasing like a rabbit, or like a little pig or something like that, or chupacabra. Not entirely sure, because if it was a werewolf, then maybe it was chasing another supernatural creature like a chupacabra. And so a whale rail, perhaps. And like, is that like a train, a whale train? And a wolf and a mutant goldfish. I love it. I like the rabbit. Yeah. And oh, Eric the cat is here. Good to see you. And it has got to go soon. Well, we all got to go soon. We've got 5 minutes before the big premiere for, yeah. And Ma was right there already too. Thank you so much. And it looks like a bull to you. Well, oh yeah, the dog. Oh, it could be a cow dog. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Isn't this so cool? And Val Summers, thank you so much for coming. And we did get a pack of new memberships tonight, given from some very, very generous folks. And so I'm so glad that you were one of them. Fantastic. A turtle on the left. Ooh, Mr. Turtle. There's a turtle in here. It's insane material. I have a new love, because, oh my gosh, you guys, this stuff is absolutely bonkers, and I can't wait to cut more of it. And so, Ma, I promise I won't sit on any of it without showing you first and asking for permission. And it's the depiction of the dog barking at your door. You guys can hear that too. Yeah, they want my attention. And so I'm going to, oh, Benjamin, you know what? I would take it. We'll have to figure out a trade, because this stuff is just incredibly sweet. And so we'll have to talk, my friend. Thank you. I'm just honored to cut this stuff. It is so beautiful. Wisconsin, all I see is something I want. Yeah, right. I don't care what it is. Okay, you guys, it is hot. I'm gonna go ahead and we could just watch that stuff for days. And so we have some other fantastic stuff to be watching very soon with our friend Jahik opening up his brand new channel. So hit the link and go hang out over there while he's getting set up. And thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for loving rocks and participating in this wonderful time that we get on the Friday Night Rocks. I bid you a good evening until we see each other at the next live. I'm going to roll the credits. Cheers. Cheers to you. Have a wonderful rock-filled weekend, and we'll see you soon. Are we alive, everybody? Are you here? Am I here? And we can't hear me. Let's start over again. Are you here? Am I here? And we can't hear me. Let's start over again.